This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Good morning, everyone. It's the first show of 2019. I'm going to say 2018. Just woke up. Shut up. Anyway, we did a lot of reviews the last month, but we're back to a regular episode. So, we're sitting here in the morning. Anything can happen, and you know what that means. Anyway, Capes and Lunatics starts right now. Hello, and welcome back. 2019 with a bang. I am Phil, and joining me as always is Lilith.
Hey y'all, Lilith Hellfire. Happy New Year.
And Charlie.
The professor.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Crushing all of my enemies. Esquire. As meaningless as it starts as it ends.
Please. He has his stuff together now. I heard that last Iron Cast. Okay, Maz, get ready. Do it live. Quality. That he's like quality.
Yeah.
Only Maz can do it. Sorry, Philip.
Just ding for quality. Yeah. Yeah, and actually now he does it the way it's a pregnant dude. Okay. My wife watches Love After Love. Oh no, that's Extreme Love. I'm sorry. A different reality show on Wii. Yeah. My wife loves the reality. Well, the produced reality. Yeah.
Scripted
reality. It is not nearly as good. I mean, I think we can all agree to that. Although it has its moments too.
Just waiting for the Friday.
Oh, anyway. No. See, my wife doesn't resort to violence, Phil.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I'm just.
I'm guessing you're
judging all women by low fire.
I'm just saying, Phil. If you're not safe, blink twice. I was that once or twice. I could tell.
That was once.
Anyway,
because Danielle's standing right there.
Yeah. So we see another one like 10 minutes later. It's like, oh, that was number 2. Now we know.
Meanwhile, Lilith Hellfire's boyfriend's whimpering in the corner. Anyway.
Well,
for different reasons, though.
Hey.
Anyway, what is on your agenda, Philip?
There wasn't much. Like,
did you see the tribute to Stan Lee from DC?
Yep, and the last page of all the DC books this week. Yep. I even sent Charlie the picture.
Yeah, it was very sweet of them, I mean, he worked at DC. He's done it all, and there is no denying that he did alter the comic book landscape,
Stan Lee presents.
Stan Lee presents. And he really is the one universal icon of that birth of the Silver Age, I think. And I mean, and it's not to say that he created the Silver Age, but he's the one that is so universally understood to be the guy there. So,
well, I think if anyone knew one name in comics, even if you don't know nothing about comics, you probably knew the name Stan Lee.
Yep, exactly. And and as I always say, you wouldn't know who Kirby was if it wasn't for Stan Lee. Because he's the guy that told everyone. King Kirby, he said, "Oh, here in the bullpen with these great artists and people that create these books with me." He told them, and then of course they all got mad because people remember who sold them the car, not who built it. Really, have you ever known the guy who built your car? No, you know the guy who sold you the car. Usually you don't even know that, except he signs his name on the paper. But anyway.
He comes out. He's like,
who buys cars from dealerships? You guys are old. There's apps for that now. Come on.
Yeah. Lilith Hellfire with all her shady black market deals. She's like, dealership.
Yeah, dealership. Well, actually my last car I got, if you count used car dealers, I buy. Actually, this is the first car I haven't bought from a dealer in a long time. So, because this was a private sale.
Ew.
It's running well. It's still operational, so I can't complain about that. You know,
private deal. I'll let you touch the mustache.
It's a private sale, Philip. Private sale. That's a term we use in the sales business for rare artifacts, like a.
Okay, Dr. Jones.
Did you get around to Young Justice yet?
Yeah, I did. Yes. Did you like it?
It was okay. I don't feel that it captured. I was hoping that we would go back to a season 1 vibe. I didn't really care for season 2 because it was like that time gap and it was like too much new introductory crap.
I mean, it's only the first 3 episodes. It looks like there's going to be 26. So, I mean, they still have time. That they did the Black Ops thing. Nightwing puts again Titans. This is how you do Dick Grayson. You don't have them going around beating on poor people. Yeah, the Justice League's and basically against each other because things are getting rough. Because Lex Luthor is Secretary General of the UN this time, not president.
Yes, I enjoy that because the UN, well.
Nobody
in the DC universe specifically, the UN's always causing trouble and chaos. So
nobody wants to be president of the United States anymore.
So true.
Well, yeah, I mean, really. So true. I'll say this much. I used to worry that the Secret Empire storyline with Cap from the '60s was eventually going to just be so dated because who's going to believe the president of the United States was once the no, because I used to make the joke, eventually with sledding time, and you look back, it's going to say, oh, well, that means that Obama was the head of the Secret Empire, which makes no sense. But obviously now,
perfect sense. They knew it would come back around.
Yeah, it was going to come back around. Yeah. Well,
who knew corruption in politics would stick around?
Well, it's not the corruption; it's the specific style of corruption that you had in Secret Empire. It's a slightly different. It's a different flavor.
Yeah.
And it would have been weird if they had Obama do it. Although they certainly there are the conspiratorial types that are more than happy to believe that about the former president.
I told you, Obama is the lizard person. I'm more worried about the Cheetos with the little hands. That's it.
Well, that's what happens when snack food comes to life. You see,
it's like we're living in a bad South Park episode.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's that.
There's no new TV for quite a while. There's new TV, but not new TV that I want to talk about.
There's Orville.
Yeah,
that I want to talk about.
You don't want to talk about Orville?
I'm just teasing. No, I've seen it, and it's just okay. I'll give it a chance again.
Did you watch the first 2? Because there was one Sunday and then there was one Thursday. Because as Seth MacFarlane put on Twitter, we premiere on Sunday, then the second episode's on at its regular time on Thursday because we love confusing the hell out of people.
Yes. Well,
didn't they want that boost from football or whatever it is?
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, I think they wanted the premiere because the premiere happened before the new year, so technically each one aired in a different year.
And like Lil said, football because it was like a lot of important games this Sunday. Seeing who's getting in the playoffs and stuff. So I mean, there was the viewership. I'm sure was up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
But it's Fox. You know how they do.
Yeah. But no, I really, here's what I'll say. And I saw people complaining, especially about the second episode, which, here's the thing.
Oh, the Bordis stuff.
Yeah, the Bordis, the Mocklin culture. I like Mocklin culture as a interesting exploration of the absurdism of, generally speaking. So essentially, here's what you have with Mocklin. And this is what I think is great about the Orville, in that it does deconstruct the tropes of classic sci-fi. So when you have something like the Klingons say, well, they are a warrior race, and everything is war, which makes no sense. Same thing with the Ferengi. It's like, I love these characters, but you can only deal with them if you really never have to deal with them on an ongoing basis. And invariably, when you have them dealing with them on an ongoing basis, you start to, they start to break down the absolutism of their culture. However, that is a very new aspect of sci-fi tropes, and usually we don't get that, especially if you're talking about your Alien of the Week kind of series. What we're doing with the Mocklins is we're saying, okay, let's start off with this idea. What if you had a single-gendered species? What what if there was, although interestingly, and this was one of these things about this last episode, it was a neat turn with the character of Isaac when they're in the ship and Bortus is trying to explain masturbation or the desire for masturbation. You can bleep that later, I'm sure. Although, why do you have to bleep masturbation? It's 2019. Okay, good. When you're trying to explain,
Heroes by the pint.
I don't know, Matt.
Did you listen to that?
Am I on that show? Then the answer is no.
Oh,
You listened to Quantum Zone before, and you weren't on that.
No,
it
well,
was
that's
to appease your ego, Philip. We all know what goes down.
No, I listen to. I can only listen to so many shows, and I listen to the shows with Phil, and I listen to the shows with Lilith.
And that's all we ask for.
Yeah, And I'll listen to Enough Said when that comes back. Although I guess now I'm on that show, so
right now the show is you. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, Ma says she's going to do it, so
Yeah, but I just mean the one common denominator over there right now is you.
Well, I'm glad they like me. I hope it's working. I love that show. It's funny. I actually texted Rob the other day, and it came up, and I realized that I had not Facebook texted him from my main account. Or maybe no, actually it was from, I think it was in my Super Connectivity account. And no, it was from my main account, because it was him actually writing me saying, "Hey, I love all your thoughts. Would you like to put them into a blog to post on our website? I think it'd be a great addition to our team."
2014.
Yeah. Facebook remembers when Rob first got me started on this crazy path. So that made me happy. But it was neat when he's talking about it, and he describes it as a child searching for its mother's breast. And it immediately raises this because obviously this is something he's come to understand about mammalian cultures, because Mochlins aren't mammals. They lay eggs.
Platypus.
Yeah, but we don't know that they give milk either. We don't know that any of them give milk, but it was that he used mother, which is a gendered term. Yeah, and specifically a gendered term as a female gendered term. Because as we have learned, there are female Mochlins, we just don't talk about them, and they are conformed at a young age. But it is this idea of taking these radicalized notions of a culture that you come up with it in the writer's room, and then say, well, no, let's keep on going with it, and not making it, well, they're going to reject their ways in favor of better human ways. Although maybe we get a little of that with Bortus when we see he's having troubles with his spouse, and I forget his name, but because he wanted his daughter not to undergo the procedure, and his spouse, who had undergone the procedure, basically felt, no, I want her to do it. Interestingly enough, that goes into another entire exploration of modern human conversations with the idea of circumcision and controversies that occur for non-religious reasons, and the idea that people often say, well, I underwent it, I want my son to undergo it. So it's honestly, I will admit these were both slower episodes, but I think it's supposed to be. And I think when we opened up in the first episode, when he was saying, man, you just want a Krill invasion. But of course, if you're in a starship floating around, you're actually not going to get Krill invasions every week. Really, in fact, most starships don't get that. Really, the reason why the Enterprise is always getting these things is because basically aliens are bugging the Enterprise, probably because of the Q. The Q is basically,
well, yeah, that's how they met the Borg.
Exactly. And so I get the feeling that this idea of being in a ship, it's going to be a lot more of people who live in a ship every day talking and dealing with their stuff and being human, who masturbate, who do stupid things like download illegal porn, which then gets your computer corrupted with viruses. It's a moral lesson. And but in these 2 episodes of Isaac, one of Isaac as the hero, as Isaac in our special underage drinking episode last week. They're all where Isaac is the one that, you know, does his computer brain stuff to show that it was actually the other kid who was the ringmaster, not the doctor's son. And you know, and there he's the hero. And here, as he is showing his very coldness, both in, you know, not understanding masturbation, and more to the point, when he says that drawing lots to see who will live and who will die on the space station seems very inefficient. And you know, I am very glad I am not like you, which is also one of these great things, because of course, again, it's easy to see each of these characters as very emotionless, but of course they're not. They're actually very different. In fact, to show the difference, as often happens between Vulcans and Data the android, where with Data the android, everyone says, oh, you know, that was emotionless characters, you can do so much, except Data isn't. Data is truly emotionless. Spock or any other Vulcan really never is truly emotionless, even though they may speak and try to make. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm talking. You guys can interrupt at any time. Oh, I give Volt. Never mind. Talk amongst yourselves. I thought it was making good points. I don't know.
You were. No, but Lilith, you thought they were. Did you think they were slow, like Charlie said? The first 2. Can't hear you.
I think she turned me off. I don't know.
I didn't turn you off.
Turned herself off.
Yeah, I did. I was
well, I saw you put the mute on when you were coughing, and
I forgot to turn
it back on.
Yeah. No, I'm a Seth MacFarlane fan, and I just don't like the Orville. Like, he needs to focus more on American Dad and Family Guy and give me damn Ted 3 instead of doing the Orville. There, I said it. Fight me, hate me, whatever.
Do you think it's like he wants like a blend of comedy and sci-fi, and I don't know if it's working. I don't know if they're going one way than the other, but
it is a very polarizing show. It's a very much, if you notice, critics they either love it or they hate it, and fans too. Like, it's just like there's not like a middle ground gray area for a lot of things.
Is he putting too many zippers on his jacket?
You should always have one more than you think you need. One more than is comfortable, because you want to be a little uncomfortable. That's the point of that. You want to be self-aware. If you're self-aware, you're in your moment, and then you can do your thing.
But yeah,
I get why he did the Orville, though, and I'm happy for him because it is a successful show by Fox standards. So, you know.
Oh,
and it's something different to do as
I said it. Yeah. Go back to jazz albums for all I care. I enjoyed those too, okay?
Yes. Well, I'm still waiting for him to team up with Brett Spiner. Did you get to ask Brett Spiner if he would do that? If he would sing jazz with Seth MacFarlane, or did you not get to?
I didn't get a chance to talk to him. He was very busy, very very loved by the crowd. So,
well, yeah,
con money,
fun, you know.
money.
Yeah, you know, it's how you make your money. It's how you make your bones, and you gotta, you know, David may not eat, but Brett Spiner does.
True.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that Seth MacFarlane has thought of that, so I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will eventually come to fruition.
All right.
Actually, no. Who also? Actually, the whole cast likes jazz. So
the whole cast?
Get Riker on the trombone.
Oh.
The whole cast of Next Generation. Well, I mean,
yeah.
Michael Dorn and I forget who played Will Riker. I know it, but it's out of my head again.
Never mind.
No, Will Riker. I know who played Wesley. As far as I know, he doesn't like jazz.
As soon as you say Will, I'm just like, Will Wheaton?
Wheaton!
No. Will Riker. Anyway.
But
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, before we get too far away from it, the whole Young Justice thing, Lilith, is Corey Payton the only DC like animated actor who can do black people's voices?
I feel like the answer is yes.
I mean, the guy who does Cyborg on Teen Titans Go and Young Justice.
Can we get Phil Lamar back in the DC animated
seriously?
Universe, please?
I mean, just this week he's always been Aqualad on Young Justice. Then he did Black Lightning this week for Young Justice. It's like, are they gonna give anyone else a chance?
It's very curious that they're using Black Lightning. Is all that I'm gonna say. It's all that I'm gonna say. Don't get your hopes up for Black Lightning season 3. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
Here's what I will say as far as the issue of white actors doing black voices. It has been controversial since Amos and Andy.
Well, no, no. Corey Payton is black, but he does like everybody's. He seems like he's doing every black voice in DC animation right now.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about.
No, he's black. No, he's black, but it just seems like he's doing Cyborg. He's doing Aqualad. He's doing Black Lightning. I mean, I know that their money's worth out of these voice actors, but damn.
And voice actors do need the paychecks. It's actually not.
Yeah.
That's why they do so many.
He's on Walking Dead now too. So I mean, he's making some. He's everywhere.
It's not the season for Walking Dead. From what I hear, I actually don't watch it. I mean, its ratings have gone down.
Rick's gone. They've jumped ahead like 6 years.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
And there was a shark somewhere in those 6 years, I think. So.
Yeah.
I think they jumped the shark.
A long time ago. From what I've heard from the fans.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. I don't have anything to go by because honestly, I'm not a zombie aficionado. I'm aware of zombies. Like my favorite zombie film is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. It tells you everything you need to know about my relationship with zombies.
I know zombies.
I feel like zombies became big in the backlash against Twilight. And that's kind of why I'm resentful of zombies, I guess. Because Twilight did destroy like the vampires and you get the vampire diaries and all that crap. You know, we move away from like the Lestats and the Louis, and it's like, okay. Whatever.
Yeah, but didn't really Lestat ruin it first with "I Miss the Color Blue" kind of stuff?
How dare you?
And just
excuse me, no, he didn't. No.
Well, I'm gonna say
I'll give you a hearty.
What I'm saying is,
fight me, nerd.
And it's not to say that I love Lestat. One of my favorite books. Interview with the Vampire, maybe a little less so, but I love the Vampire Lestat. Big thick book. But what I'm saying is that's where you start to get vampires as these, maybe more complex emotional characters. And I mean, they've done it before in other genres, but that's where it really became popular. And then the next step is someone does it poorly. And
it's been done poorly many times, but this, and I'm not gonna hate.
It was a popular version of it done poorly.
I feel like Twilight was only hated on because teen girls liked it, and people love to poop on stuff that teen girls like. Like as I do the retrospect, it wasn't that bad.
Sparkly vampires.
Take that out, and it's just another YA blank female character for girls to project themselves on. And
no, and that is actually not. I mean, I think there is a quality to that, but I also think it was this idea that and just to make it a do thing, they emasculated vampires. Vampires suddenly don't have to drink blood for some reason, or aren't consumed by the hunger, apparently.
Well, they are, but they struggle again. It's like a whole thing. Like I said, I gave Twilight a chance. I read the books. I watched the movies. Amazing scores, but it's just like I get why people don't like it, but at the same time, I can understand if you were a certain age at that time, why you would dive into that frenzy like that.
Oh yeah. Well, people are always looking for something fun to read. Except for my kids.
I just got pissed because she literally said she didn't research. Like, what writer doesn't research something like that? That's what pisses me off about the whole thing. That's why they
we gotta do at least a little research.
So
wait, she didn't do research into vampires?
Nope. Well, she's Mormon, so they have like a whole thing about that or whatever. So
Then why do vampires? Why not just say he's
because vampires were hot. They sell like hotcakes, and that
Okay,
much
so maybe
you.
What? You can't do research when you're wearing magic underwear? What?
It's not magic, it's ceremonial. There's a difference. It's holy and it's ceremonial, but it is not magical. No, I'm just saying there is actually there is a difference. Okay, you know, because your average Mormon will say, look, it is a ceremonial thing the way that people will wear certain headdresses for religious reasons. You know, they just wear it beneath themselves and that or beneath their outer clothing. It is a ceremonial thing. Now there are people who will feel that it does have that because it is a holy vestment in the same way that certain other religions have holy vestments that they carry with them, like way Catholics may carry a rosary. That it does offer some modicum of religious blessing and protection, but they don't feel like it's not like a sacred relic in the way that, say, the finger bone of a saint is considered a sacred relic. Finger bone of a saint is magical or miraculous.
Constantine, is that you?
I'm sorry, I just know the difference between things that are magical and things that are ceremonial and things that are
some people
miraculous.
A lot of anybody that believes in religion believes in magical thinking, and we're just gonna move on because I'm not one of those people.
Well, magical thinking is something different. Magical thinking is a definition of a time is a kind of thought. And yes, religions do base themselves on magical thinking, but so does pretty much every belief that any human has, because very few humans actually do the research into the things that they believe in.
Charlie Esser and Constantine only have one thing in common:
a sexually adventurous freak. Yes, this is true.
That keeps on giving. I guess since we have nothing else to talk about, let's talk comics. It's a good
wait! Before we get to comics, I was going to ask. We already talked about it, but Charlie, did you see the Gotham premiere?
Yes, I did. I did watch the rest of the Gotham, and I actually saw most of it already before I fell asleep because I'm old. And it was just one of these things where that was the day Mons could record, so we recorded. So I actually missed the first run of the Orville and Gotham. So I actually haven't gotten to live tweet anything yet.
We were doing the review. We were doing the review of Gotham right after the episode, and I just see the inbox filling up with Ironcast. I saw that.
Yeah. Well, it was but that's when we couldn't. So when you can record, you record. You don't ask questions.
Phil knows that all too well.
Yeah, it surprised me Phil actually has a full-time job too. That's the weird thing about Phil. I think Phil may be an immortal. I don't think he sleeps.
Android.
Yeah, so be sure to check out the Capes and Lunatics sidekick feed because that's where it's going to be at for the next 11 weeks, 12 weeks.
Well, yeah, Mondays.
Can't wait, man. I'm excited for Gotham to be back, and I really like what they've done.
So what did you like? What did you like? What did you not like? Charlie?
I have dominated so much. I don't want to be seen as a blowhard, a bombastic fellow. That isn't the image I want for myself. Well, I am a bombastic fellow, but doesn't mean I want to be made to feel shame about it.
Well, Lilith and I already talked about it, so I would like to hear your thoughts, Charlie.
Okay. So, because I do want to say one thing for super connectivity, but I will talk about. I like it's open, 1 year later, sort of Batman year one, because this is year 0, and then year 1, see what they did, and they got everyone getting together to fire on the army, which I guess is a thing and an idea.
They got to tease you. Got to tease you for that last episode.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and it's nice we see that, and it's neat to see. Then we go back and say, and here's where we started, and we have and it's just a nice way that they're setting it up there. I think we only see it's only Riddler and Penguin we see, right? Were there any other villains in that?
No, I think it was just Riddler and Penguin. Yeah,
Riddler and Penguin coming together. Yeah, because we don't get Jerome yet, although he's coming. or maybe we don't know yet. We don't know who our third Joker will be because we're already down to 2. So I liked that. I liked it as a great open, and everyone getting together, working together, and to do this. Things I didn't like. There were a couple things. First off, I don't like Penguin having so little sense of consequences, like how you build an empire. I mean, he was mayor. He knew how one hand had to wash the other. He shouldn't be this. He shouldn't be that bad of a leader, because if he was that bad of a leader, why are people following him? You know, that's sort of this thing. I don't want to question why people are following Penguin. I want people to recognize and respect what Penguin brings to the table. You know, and running his munitions factory, because they had a munitions factory in. Well, they said they repurposed this factory to make bullets.
Misfiring bullets.
I don't think it works that way, because you actually need to make gunpowder. Well, he's being cheap, you know. He's not. That's the thing. It's like that should be a concern for Penguin. Penguin should want to produce a quality product, because he shouldn't have to have someone explain to him why, if we don't make a good product, no one's going to want our product. You know. And I know he feels he's the only game in town, but if you don't have game, you can't be. It was a bit of a disappointment. Yeah,
but does Penguin just like take the money and run? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's what he's kind of viewing it as. It's like, you know, as he says to. I
mean, I don't think Penguin wants to make bad. I don't think Penguin wants to make bad ammunition, but you know, they're probably using like more primitive methods to create the bullets. So it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's a possibility, but still, then you need quality control. But then again, maybe the demand for bullets is so high that, you know, if they don't meet, he maybe, you know, and that's the thing, is like stuff like that. So see, this is just me. I'd rather like to have that nice guns butter conversation. Like, no, we need to keep on producing bullets instead of just having saying, "Oh, bullets are fine," and shooting him off and having it misfire on himself. Although it winds up saving his life. Although again, one of these weird things where why does what's that girl's name?
Who?
Butch's old girlfriend.
Oh, Tabitha.
Was it Talia? Tabitha. Like, why? So she kills the henchman, and then she talks to Penguin before she kills him.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, like literally, like just like Thor, go for the head.
Got to,
you know,
got to twirl the mustache, man. Him. You know, got to twirl that.
It's Gotham. They put the ham in Gotham, so you know.
But they already killed. She already just killed one guy without a thought.
Well, that's because he's a henchman. This is the main boss battle. You got to have a little back and forth. Come on.
And besides, you killed the man I love. I have to let you know.
Yeah, but it's like there's not a reason for this whole conversation, unless, you know, the one argument there is that she actually does feel guilt over killing Oswald's mother, and so she knows.
Well, yeah. Now
she opened this door for herself. That she basically did kill Butch in the way that Penguin says. So
yeah,
in that way you can headcanon.
Classic Jason Momoa Aquaman.
Yeah, she doesn't feel bad until her lover gets killed. Yeah.
But at least they're actually the villains. You know, they're actually the villains, and so it's like, yes, I understand these as motivations for villains. Not if you're freaking Aquaman.
Every superhero in the DC universe has to be an anti-hero now. So deal with it. # deal with it. That's the. If you didn't notice, that's the prevailing theme.
Everyone has to be a version of Batman. You know, Aquaman has to be underwater Batman.
Might as well just do metal. I think that's secretly they adopted metal before metal was a thing.
I think, or maybe metal is meant to be their parody of it. You know. Like, you know, you want.
We know. They're like, we know.
That was not a parody. They were dead serious.
Yeah. The best parodies always are, you know. Just ask Stephen Colbert. You got to sell it. You got to have the truthiness to it.
Truthiness. I have a T-shirt with that on there somewhere around here. I miss the good old days before he went to CBS.
I'll take your word. You know, like Seth MacFarlane, he wanted to do a slightly different character than he always has to play. You know, he wanted to do something slightly different.
No, he tried to do something slightly different, and then he went right back to the old format after that didn't work out. I'm just saying.
Well, and again, this is just the first 2 episodes, and I think that you're supposed to get this people in a submarine kind of vibe to it, you know, which I think is the thing to do.
As you do,
you know,
as
you do. But Gotham, yeah, no, I mean, so those are the 2 big things I didn't like. I did like whatever's going on with the Riddler having his lost time, and I do want to find out what he's doing. I want to know who the third personality is. You know, who the true, not Edward, not the actual Riddler, because I think that's is the third person. Not Edward, not Nigma, but the Riddler. So that's my prediction. I think that's what we see at the end is the actual Riddler with his little ace with the question mark, because aces have question marks, I guess.
You gotta stylize.
We're gonna go with it. We're gonna work with it.
Last season budget, you know.
No wonder. Yeah, no wonder Bruce dresses up like a bat. Everyone else is dressing up. Everyone else has a theme. I don't know. I guess I need a theme. You know. I definitely don't trust that nurse. She certainly reminds me of characters from characters from A Series of Unfortunate Events. Also, she kind of reminds me. Yeah, it's like you can tell there's something evil going on, even though she's dressed as a nurse. And man, the old-timey nurses uniforms in the Gotham universe is very odd, unless they all are supposed to be nuns.
Again, it's no man's land too, so it's like, you know, there's no fresh supply of uniforms coming in either too.
But they would have had uniforms before that. It's not like they're still wearing uniforms from 1890, from 1980.
They're in the wash. You know?
No, those are all recently
been on a budget for years, Charlie. Are you just?
Well,
have you seen the police cars?
No, not for nothing. Not for. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. The city has been on a budget, but those actually cost more than scrubs. You know, scrubs are the reason why they actually have scrubs in the real world is because they're cheap and efficient. That's why everyone wears scrubs, because when they had to have a special tailored uniform for everyone, that got expensive. And hospitals said, we don't want to pay that kind of money. They said, what is literally the cheapest clothing we can make that can be easily hot water washed and thrown back onto people? And they said, well, you know, like jumpsuits. I said, 1,000 of those of the cheapest material they have.
Good enough for you.
Oh, you wish those were prison inmate uniform quality, you know? No. Anyway, but yeah, that's the thing, you know. And yeah, so but it's a stylistic choice. Everything is left over from the 30s in or earlier in Gotham, especially that ham radio. You know, because no one has a cell phone. No one has.
Lieutenant Gordon, can you hear me?
Yes, I mean, not for nothing. It's like, couldn't Lucius Fox just, even if all the cell towers blew up in Gotham, couldn't he just build a new cell tower? You know,
I don't know.
Out of all the parts of
Lucius
all the destroyed
Fox
cell
is just
towers.
a black guy in the back for diversity at this point. He doesn't exist. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, Bruce got the signal out for the helicopter to come flying across the river.
Well, exactly. This is the thing. It's very series of unfortunate events. The way I watch
maybe this is the prequel to that show. Who knows?
Yeah. But again, a series of unfortunate events. You get it because it is so much a stylized show, and I guess maybe they want that vibe. They want that Lemony Snicket vibe. They want that big Netflix cash for Gotham season. Whatever, 7.
Anytime you have a show that's anachronistic, after 1970, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why are you doing this? It's kind of like the Flash, the original Flash from the 90s. I love the costuming and stuff, but it's dude.
Well, I guess they figure, instead of it's something looking old and aged, that after a while, they're just I don't always look old and aged.
It's the Sabrina Killing Adventures. You're supposed, because technically they have hinted that, you know, it is contemporary with Riverdale. So maybe they're in like a time bubble. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, so the witches are immortal, so they all have old technology. That's a vampire trope.
But no, the whole
you know?
the whole town's like that though.
I
Like if
don't know
you
about-
go to the Christmas special and all that stuff, the whole town's very old timey. The high school is very old timey. Everything.
Well, that's just because that's when they built it, and and they maybe have not invested in a computer lab yet.
And
But
you
it's
only
like-
see house phones. I'm just saying they've gone out of their way to do it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, cell phones have ruined storytelling. But then again, maybe
Look at you, Seinfeld.
Maybe, yeah.
Every
This
single one of
ruins
their
the storytelling.
problems can be solved with a cell phone now. So
No problems that aren't solved without with a
No
cell
more
phone in our
movie
modern
phone.
age.
Fandango
No.
app. This podcast is not sponsored by Fandango, but if Fandango would like to sponsor us, you're more than welcome. Anyway, comic books.
Okay. So
I know Charlie didn't read it. He's gonna be like, "Oh, that was out this week." But Lilith, did you read Heroes in Crisis #4?
Yeah, I did.
And
I'm over the storyline. So yeah, like I'm over it.
I mean, the mystery still continues. How long are they going to drag this out?
Isn't this like 12 issues or some crap?
9.
Okay.
The cover says 9 unless they decide to.
Milk it, which is possible. You know, how about we finish Doomsday Clock? How about we do some other stuff before we do Heroes in Crisis? Like, I'm sorry, it's just a mess over there, and this storyline is a mess too.
And then they locked up Booster Gold for questioning, but then Blue Beetle breaks them out.
Now we're sure that's actually Booster Gold and not the Booster Gold replicant from the Crisis machine.
Who knows?
Clearly,
Who
it's causing
knows?
all the crises.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems pretty clear that the robot causing the crisis and made the duplicates. And
I was just gonna say, is this set up for a Tom King, Booster Gold, and Blue Beetle team up book, Lilith?
I would actually be here for that. So, I mean, we need it, especially if they're going to supposedly be working on a movie. They do need to reintroduce the characters to the mainstream. So,
but do you need a reason to have characters get back together?
At DC, you do. You only do it for a reason. Like I said, mark my words. I don't think Black Lightning's getting to season 3. That's why they put him in Young
People who
Justice.
move in the same circles and work in the same field and maybe even live in the same town isn't enough. It's like
No,
like
it's
when
not.
they
It's really not.
when they brought back Power Man and Iron Fist, it was literally just Iron Fist saying, "Hey, Power Man, we should hang out together more." But I was like, "Oh, okay." But I'm not wearing the dang. I hope they put him back.
Like I've never enjoyed the synergy that DC tries to put into things because like with the whole especially with the Green Arrow, like the TV show, then they tried to copy the TV show, then the TV show slightly tries to copy the comic books, and it just makes both products crap. There, I said it.
Ooh.
And that synergy just doesn't work for me in the DC universe. It just doesn't work for me because it's about merchandising, and when you try to push something as just a merch kind of thing, it shows and it just annoys me. So,
and what about this big thing? It's like, some secret source is threatening to leak the Sanctuary tapes, which Batman's like they're destroyed as soon as they're recorded. And
why are you recording them then?
Clark,
There's always a chance. Damn it, Batman.
and then
Why wouldn't you record it if you're just going to destroy them after they're recorded?
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense. That's
Exactly.
like, okay,
This whole storyline is a mess.
that's the old joke about why they fill out everything in triplicate in the armies. One for headquarters, one for here, and one to burn so the enemy doesn't get it. It's
but,
like,
and then the solution to someone's gonna leak this stuff. So Superman's like, Lois already wrote the story about Sanctuary.
It's just one big long sigh as I was reading. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, Superman's acting more like Batman. I was like, is this Bendis writing his? But I was like, oh no, wait, Superman's with his wife, so no, it's not Bendis.
okay, that's weird. Why is Lois wearing a Superman t-shirt to bed? Because
He's like Robin from How I Met Your Mother. He likes to he likes to think of himself while he has
Superman's an egomaniac. Freak me nervous.
under Bendis, probably.
Yeah, it's like, you know, that's a little, I mean, like, because not for nothing, that's like his family house symbol. So is that like wouldn't his mom, like his real mom, have like worn a shirt like that to bed?
Or his cousin?
Thank you. I mean, you know, they are the last two Kryptonians, at least except for the entire city of Kandor, a dog and horses and
Kandor's
Kryptonians.
no more.
Kandor's dead.
Everything's gone, yeah.
Bendis killed that.
Oh, someone escaped. Someone escaped. Someone always escapes.
But under
I am the
Bendis' watch.
He doesn't get to watch forever, Phil. Always remember that. No writer writes forever. Even John Byrne stopped writing the Fantastic Four.
But speaking of heroes in crisis, Rolf, did you see that? Did you see that weird thing online? I guess somebody was writing an article. I don't forget the guy's name, but some reporter was like writing like, "Oh, I don't think Tom King was really in the CIA," or
he can neither confirm nor not. Either way, a-hole. Like,
I know, and I'm just like, wait a minute. When does the CIA ever confirm? Oh yeah, this guy worked for us, or this guy does work for us, or
not like
exactly.
Well, yeah, but you know, just that fact makes it very easy for people to claim. Well, you know, I was a CIA.
Well, I mean, unless you're like an analyst, like a low-level analyst, and you're retired, then maybe.
I mean, honestly, I'm sure they have admin assistants at the CIA.
They do. You know what? You have to be background checked just to work at the Starbucks in the building. So technically, you are actually working for the CIA if you work in that Starbucks or that McDonald's.
And not for nothing.
Throw that out there for people who don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, actually, I used to work with a guy who did military base. He did food service at military base, and yeah, there is so much work. And because they say, you know, not only do you have to do the store and the government guidelines, but you also have to meet whatever guidelines that that particular branch of the military decided to implement. And then they come in and check you and give you demerits for reasons, you know.
Yeah. But like, just leave Tom King alone. I mean, just leave him alone. It's fine. It's fine. Just leave Tom King alone. Let him write his stories and shut up.
Yeah. And not for nothing. Even, I mean, I guess obviously he's claiming he was in the CIA, and he's writing a fantastical story that deals with spy organizations.
It always has to be tongue in cheek. You can't be too on the nose. Like one of my favorite series, Burn Notice. Supposedly the guy was, and I kind of tend to believe it, but you have to change certain things anyway.
Well, yeah, I think wasn't that when Tom King like first hit the scene? It was like he was co-writing Grayson with Tim Seeley.
Yeah.
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 And also, you know, not for nothing, I think that's where Bendis got his idea from for his book about the CIA operative. That's a comic book. I'll just leave that there for you guys because Bendis stole my idea about Jimmy Olsen. I'm gonna throw it out there. I know it's on Wattpad from like 10 years ago. So I don't think it past him.
Oh, who is Jimmy Olsen dating now? Isn't he dating someone controversial?
Talia al Ghul, supposedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did it first.
Okay. So I'm just gonna say this. Man, she has daddy issues. It's like, I'm going. It's like, what person could I date that would really make my dad mad? Superman's best pal, Jimmy Olsen.
You gotta give it to the ginger, bro. You gotta give it to him.
Hey now.
She might be a pumpkin pounder. I'm just saying. I can appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Poor Lexi lost his hair. He's not a ginger anymore. No, but I mean, honestly, it is odd that of all the people that you would think Talia al Ghul would go out with, I mean, Jimmy Olsen isn't at the top of the list, but maybe that's that opposite strike, or maybe this is the ultimate fan service. Hey, you nerds! I know Jimmy Olsen is your nerd icon. This is who you can project yourself onto because even you, as a nerd, know you're not Superman, but you could be Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen looks like Mehcad Brooks from Supergirl. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Well, yeah, that Jimmy Olsen I could see. And it's not even like they woke up Jimmy or actually given Jimmy this, like, you know, grizzled, which they could. He is a war reporter. Everyone, not a war. Takes pictures. But, you know, he could be like they did Jimmy Olsen when they killed him in Man of Steel or whatever.
We don't talk about that.
You know, that he was this deep cover guy, you know, and that would be like, oh, that I see. But just as far as I know, everything I've read about Jimmy Olsen in the last few decades, which I have read a bit of Jimmy Olsen over the years, he seems to still be a very nerdy, geeky guy. And it doesn't seem like they've ever walked that back. And I guess maybe Talia's just like, I want to date someone different. I'm always dating superheroes. I want to date just a superhero's friend.
Can I help you with that zipper, ma'am?
It's already down as far as it can go without showing Cho-Cha. That's all that I'm saying.
Oh my goodness! So they're getting. Well, okay. Well, you know what? Good for Talia. Good for. I wish them a long, happy relationship.
They need to make a baby together, so Damien can have a half brother.
Don't you send us ideas.
I'm here for that. What do you mean? Go all in. Take all the ideas I had.
That would be awesome, and just little baby Al Ghul.
It's a little redhead. You know, we got to keep redheads alive in comic books because they have a tendency of dying.
Oh, you know what? That would be kind of cool just to have the Talia's daughter. So he has a little sister with red hair who is somehow smarter than Damien and better than him. Because obviously she'll be born and then will be like 8 years old the next issue.
Super speed. We do have that super speed growth serum somewhere floating around the DC universe.
Oh my lord, she would literally be the redheaded stepchild of the DC universe.
Well, she wouldn't be to Batman. She wouldn't be a step. She would be the actual legitimate Olsen child. She would be
true.
Little Hella Olsen or whatever they want to call her. You know? Hella, yeah.
I think her name should be Lilith, but it's fine.
Thank you.
In honor of ripping off my ideas, yes, must be Lilith.
But if you name her Lilith Olsen, you'll know that they listen.
Lilith will fix it because Lilith fixes everything.
There we go.
Anyway, can I just say that it was a great week to be an Archie fan finally after like the last 4 months of disappointment. Jughead the Hunger number 11 was amazing. If you haven't been keeping up, they've been kind of doing this their take on like Universal monsters with Jughead being like the werewolf and he goes up against like a couple of other things. And this one was basically Frankenmoose versus Wolf Jughead. And it's just really funny and cute and I don't know. And the art was really good.
Was that out this week or was this is the one that came after? Was that out this week? Because I saw the one where they first introduced Frankenmoose, and I didn't get it because I said, "Well, where's the origin of Frankenmoose? I want to know how we got a Frankenmoose."
Yeah,
so get an origin of Frankenmoose.
This arc was 4 issues long with the Frankenmoose, so this is the conclusion of them in their battle royale, basically. So, yeah.
Did we get an origin of Frankenmoose?
We did. I think it was issue like 7 or 8.
Okay.
And it just absolutely checked all the check boxes for me this week because like I said, it's been kind of lacking, but they really punched it up and finished out the arc. So I just wanted to give them praise on that. And I also want to give praise for Archie 701. He's finally not bickering and dithering back and forth between Betty and Veronica. And then we got this new character named JB, who's like up to things in Riverdale. Yeah, it was just fun and different, and I like it. I like this new turn of events because I'm so over the Betty and Veronica thing as an Archie fan. So I think we did need this deviation.
So who did he pick?
It's some girl from school.
Oh, so he didn't even pick either Betty or Veronica.
No, he's out of that relationship. He's out of that dichotomous, love triangle, and he's just moving on for now.
Girl blossoms shine.
No, I really wish they would have gone there, honestly, because she was supposed to be a love interest, and then they decided against it for him. So I'm here for the Archie and Cheryl, but that's never going to happen now, especially with the popularity of Riverdale, the TV show.
Because it's 2 gingers, and when 2 gingers mate, those could happen.
I know, that's why I wanted to happen.
It would again be like when you're with the person in the Superman shirt and you're a Superman. It's like a little weird. I don't think Batman makes people wear Batman shirts. I don't think he ever made. I'm
sure he made Catwoman wear a Batwoman shirt once or twice. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Need to get my unpopular opinion out of my mouth.
Batman is so egotistical. That's why everything is a batarang, a bat plane. Like, you didn't invent the plane. Why are you putting bat in front of it?
Okay, Charlie answer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the older I get, the more I just like, I cannot with Batman. The older I get.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. I mean, it became a trope back before people were comics. And honestly, it's really a trope of the 60s. I don't even think he had bat stuff. I mean, he might have had a batarang, and he certainly had a Batmobile. But like everything wasn't bat themed until the 1960s bats, and when everything got batitized,
When they went west, Adam West.
Once you go west, it's the best. All these good things that they can use straps up for the shows. So.
Oh, I'm surprised you guys should be reading Scooby-Doo Team Up, by the way. Like, I'm just gonna throw it out there. The best DC book this week was Scooby-Doo Team Up. Ooh. The Scooby Gang teams up with Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, and they're trying to escape Granny Goodness. And it's an all-age book, so it's like, I don't know.
That sounds awesome.
It was awesome. Like, more people should be reading this book.
Yeah, I wanted to get Scooby-Doo Team Up ever since they first teamed up with Batman. And I have gotten a few of them. They are good books. I won't deny it. It's just,
This is right up Phil's alley though, because of Mr. Miracle though. So. But yeah, you'd like it too. Like I said, you got Daphne and Velma like trying not to become female furies from Granny Goodness. It was just like so much fun, and it's an all-age book, and it really just struck me like the violence wasn't like it's like campy and not like over the top and broody. Like, I think more of the DC books should be like this, honestly.
Yeah,
it's something Charlie Esser would like. Let me just put it to you that way.
I think he would.
I think it. I honestly, first off, I love all of the Warner Brothers crossovers, all the cartoon character crossovers, and I think that, and not for nothing, Scooby-Doo Team Up. That's something that goes back to the '80s reboot of Scooby-Doo. Yeah, I love that. I just wish they'd have Sonny and Cher on it again.
Wow.
Yeah, at this point.
Be able to
Cher.
Well, not for nothing. They had Laurel and Hardy on it, so in the cartoon version. So they were long dead by that point. So they were not opposed to having time traveling adventures.
Sorry, Charlie. Yes, sir. If you can only turn back time.
Yes.
Putting Kelly in shame.
No, but I used to love the Scooby-Doo. There was always a two-parter, which gave you that, which goes into that serial comic book kind of stuff. I definitely feel that was the inspiration of this. Was the idea of having all these characters come in, and of course, they actually did famously team up with Batman in the '80s cartoon.
Yeah.
Lilith, I'm surprised you didn't bring up Detective 995. We got the death of a major character.
I know. I thought it was good, but I'm telling you, Scooby-Doo Team Up. Y'all need to get on this.
I didn't say
$2.99. $2.99.
I didn't say it was your favorite. I figured you bring it up even if you were like, I hated this book.
I mean, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I think that it's brave and bold, but is it going to stay that way? No.
Well, it's the countdown to 1,000.
I know, so they're just going to turn everything back. Like, I don't trust DC anymore after the whole wedding fiasco. So it's like, I don't believe anything you tell me anymore. So this person could be back next issue for all we know.
Major spoiler alerts. They kill Leslie Tompkins. Alfred gets attacked. So Batman goes to Arkham and basically threatens the inmates and says, "Gonna tell me what I want to know." Turns off the lights and be like, "Time for the beating."
Is he gonna start branding criminals? I feel like he's like 2 steps away from branding criminals. That's all that I'm gonna say.
Yeah, well, no, he just picks on the mentally ill, Lilith.
Affleck.
He just picks on the mentally ill. He doesn't actually attack real criminals,
Affleck.
Back in the day, he used to.
Yeah, well, back in the day, then criminals started carrying guns and realized, oh, you know what? He doesn't have any armor on his face. Go for the
that
face.
You know of. That Wayne Tech, bro. It's up there.
I'm just saying. Never understand why no one shoots for the head. Like, then why didn't you go for the head? It's like the one. It's like
Who
Not
brings a
everyone
knife
is-
to a gunfight? Like, what? Who brings arrows to a gunfight? My fault.
Oh,
That's not named Oliver Queen. Just,
Hawkeye.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's what else. Well, actually, arrows and guns are both long distance weapons. See, the actual thing about a knife to a gunfight is you actually, if you bring a knife to a
Gotta be
gunfight,
close, yeah.
yeah, you get it's about getting in close. But obviously, if you're standing on the street 10 feet apart, a knife doesn't do you much good.
unless you're a shark or a jet and you're snapping your fingers.
Or a knife thrower.
Well, like if you're going to engage in something, yeah. It all depends on how close you are in the fight. You're like, if you're really up close, you know, even the Punisher said, yeah, give me, if I'm up close, I want my knife. But, you know, because you can be more precise.
I'm just saying knives aren't typically, like, it's just a whole thing with Gotham. But anyway.
Oh, by the way, can I just say, this is actually one thing I never got to make mention of in our discussion of Aquaman.
Okay.
We established, and there's sort of a little bit of the thing that they do doesn't make any sense. When they've established that, regular blades will just bounce off of Atlantean skin for reasons.
No, you brought this up because because he got
No.
stabbed.
Did I bring up that he used his grandfather's knife to stab him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay. I thought I forgot to mention that. Okay.
How true?
It doesn't make sense.
About as drunk as I was.
True.
And you know what? We also talk a lot before and we talk a lot after. I don't know.
True.
What makes it on air?
Yeah, you know. Because I actually don't listen to myself talk on my pod. I mean, I subscribe to my podcast just so we get the downloads, but I actually almost never listen to my own podcasts. Because I already said all that stuff. Why do I want to listen to it? You know? It's like it'll sometimes come on when I'm on the train and I just don't bother to change it, but I never like, oh yeah, this is my latest. That would be like, you know, if I made someone wear a Superman shirt to bed and I was Superman. That'd be a little self-aggrandizing. Though he does call himself Superman, so. Although, does he call himself Superman, or did everyone else just start calling him Superman? He's like, fine. Call me
Well, didn't Lois Lane name them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. So maybe she's just a fan.
Got that sick obsession, yeah.
Maybe she's the one that wants to wear the Superman thing all the time. It's like, okay, okay, Lois.
Oh, Man of Steel.
Yes.
Yikes.
Okay.
Just yikes. Moving on. Let's talk some Marvel.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you like from Marvel this week, Lilith?
My favorite Marvel book was Immortal Hulk number 11. Sorry, Kelly, you come in number 2. But yeah, I really liked Immortal Hulk.
Ooh, as we'll discuss
I'm
on
a Hulk
Super
fan,
Connectivity.
Yeah, I'm a Hulk fan, but like it comes and it goes with certain writers. Like I'll give it a chance, and I'm just like, this one I'm here for.
Yeah. You know what I loved about this? And this was this thing that I noticed. Did you notice that General Ross had eyes?
Yeah.
Or
he
didn't have hollowed out shell of eyes. Like Rick, and there's maybe even this argument to be made in that Rick Jones died to the Hulk a long time ago. That's why he's so desiccated. And General Ross, he's still very real to the Hulk.
Or maybe all of Rick didn't go to hell, but Ross, the whole complete package went straight to hell.
I mean, if they're
when he got killed in Captain America, yeah.
If they're in heck, they're in heck or hell.
HE double hockey sticks.
Yeah, HE double toothpicks. That's why you spelling everything with capital letters. Why do you got to shout, Phil?
Have you met him?
This isn't a presidential tweet. You don't need all caps.
It's huge.
But no, I found that and personally, my favorite part of this was Puck.
Puck.
Vowed to live an interesting life. He certainly has. Now, was Puck in this? Was he going into this earlier? I forgot.
What?
No, this book moved really, really fast. So I like that about this particular series and this writer. Like it's a lot of action, but then it's also like a lot of reflectful thought, and you can tell this person was a fan. Like that's what I love. I hate when writers just get stuck on books because that's what the editor needed them to do. I like when like Tim Seeley and Tom King, people that are like fans of the character and like are like want to like show appreciation back towards the fans.
Yeah. And this guy definitely loves the Hulk. I mean,
Yes.
all the references to the 70s shows, because not for nothing, you got to be a real hardcore Hulk fan to be a fan of the 70s Hulk TV show. You got to be a true fan who just loves the concept of the Hulk and not necessarily any individual iteration of it. You know, or he's just a fan of the 1970s Hulk show and doesn't really care about the comics. One or the other.
I think he's gotten a healthy. He finds a healthy balance between all
Yes.
the.
I
all
think
the
so too. I think it's actually it's definitely written by a fan, and he's done some great stuff with the Hulk here. Again, another thing I loved was Jackie McGee saying about how the Hulk killed her father because he had to work to death after the Wasp, and it is this thing that even if the Hulk doesn't kill you when he breaks your house, he kills people. You know, it's like that devastation, all that loss is horrific. And they've mentioned this a few times. And you know, there was this one Hulk Fantastic Four crossover where he was staying at the Baxter Building, and he because this guy tries to kill Bruce Banner because he destroyed his town, and then at the end of it, Bruce rebuilds the town. Which, if you think about it, is the most empty gesture he could do. Put all the buildings back. Just like you left them.
Not any of your family heirlooms, but yeah, just your house is back.
The house is back. Your family's left you, and you're still a hopeless drunk. But
your sense of safety, yeah, here's the house.
I am the left thumb of God. I can give and I can take away. You know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So, Lilith, did you read Man Without Fear #1?
No, I was waiting on you to tell me if it was any good because I didn't hear good things about it on the Twitters. So.
I liked it. I mean, it's basically Matt Murdock's in a coma, so it's all in his head, basically going over everything Daredevil and his relationships with Bullseye and Elektra and stuff. But no, it's funny in the beginning because he's in a coma because he got hit by a truck in the last arc of Daredevil because Foggy comes in, and it's funny because he goes, yeah, Stilt Man, all those other guys couldn't take you out. It's funny, you get taken out by your very first enemy, a truck.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking in my head. He got hit again.
Yeah.
Did the radioactivity spill on him and take away all his powers? Is this where we're going?
Even Foggy's just
he didn't get hit by the truck the last time. He got hit by the toxic waste.
Yeah, exactly. But he's like, your old enemy, the truck.
Yeah. Okay.
But so, yeah, I like it. I mean, if you're a Daredevil fan, it's is he a man without fear?
Yeah.
It's basically, I think it's Matt going over in his head. It's what is Daredevil? Does there need to be a Daredevil? What have I done?
Probably not, considering he lives in New York and there's a million other superheroes.
I know, but it's basically what have I done right? What have I done wrong? Because you see all the suits too, even that 90s gray suit. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna bring that up. Yikes!
Oh, they're bringing up everything. It looks like so. Yeah. So it's just
okay. I might check it out in trade. Then I don't know. Like I guess I didn't hear good things about it, and I'm very particular with my money.
I think it's only 4 issues. It's a weekly thing. So yeah. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Before a new Daredevil #1, of course.
Oh, true. So yeah, Mr. and Mrs. X is my #2. Obviously, I really enjoyed the Mojoverse.
Oh yeah.
That was an adorable concept, especially with Rogue and Gambit reliving their greatest hits. It was cute.
Just Mojo messing with them and putting them in different scenarios. Yeah.
Well, that's what Mojo does. It's all about ratings.
Exactly.
And Lil, tell Charlie who shows up on the last page.
No, you tell him.
Oh.
I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not getting at it.
Mojo, I guess Mojo doesn't like the chemistry between Rogue and Gambit. So who does he replace Gambit with on the last page for Rogue?
Who?
Long Shot.
Oh, that's what he was saying in Domino.
I was gonna say Long Shot making big appearances this month.
Well, yeah, I mean you gotta love Long Shot. He's awesome. His soul doesn't even exist in this universe.
Okay, can Kelly and Gail just get together, seriously, and do a book? I need them to do a book.
Well, maybe that's what they're leading up to, Lilith. They're both putting Long Shot in there.
Well, I think it was last week on Super Connectivity. Charlie and I were saying we want a West Coast Avengers Superior Spider-Man crossover because they're both on the West Coast.
Oh yeah,
just Quentin Quire and Otto in each other's faces.
Well, he wants that. I just want Digger and Gwenpool to talk shop. And
that
also,
would be crisis, actually.
well, what I love about that is Gwen is metafictional, but she doesn't talk to the audience, really, the way that Digger talks to the audience, theoretically, because Digger is metafictional from this universe. So he was designed to be metafictional. Gwenpool is just metafictional. And if nothing else, that might help her refine her metafictional nature and her super powers.
I might have to bring this up with Miss Kelly Thompson because I'm speaking to her again live this Thursday. You can watch it on YouTube. We're going to discuss Carol Danvers because we've been talking Captain Marvels, and she's her Captain Marvel #1 comes out this Wednesday. So
okay, well that'll be great. So mention it.
I will.
So you know that idiot Charlie Esser? He thinks that Gwenpool should meet Digger, and she'll say again, "I don't like Gwenpool." So
yes, and don't forget to ask her about fan fiction theater.
Oh, okay, okay. Better read all this down.
That'll be for the Patreon, though. But, yeah.
Like I said, I would love to see Digger and Gwenpool get together and hang out and see. I think that would really get in Quire's head because Digger and Gwenpool like connecting, and he's gonna get all jealous, and Gwen's gonna be like, "He's a literal zombie. Why would I be attracted to a literal zombie just because we have things in common?" You know? That's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's like he is literally a zombie. I don't even know if he has parts anymore. You know, but I would love it if he helps her reconnect with her metafictional nature, and maybe even teaches her to see the audience. That would be awesome.
Teach me to love again.
Did anybody read Killmonger #3? Like, I didn't think I was gonna like this series, but I like this series.
Oh, is it? No, I haven't read it yet.
I think that's the best thing that come out of the MCU cross merchandising. Dies in old bull crap.
Well,
this book.
Isn't that also by our good friend Brian Edward Hill?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
This is Brian Edward Hill, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
And of course, he's like with one of his favorite artists, Juan. So yeah, this book is really good. I like it. It even has Bullseye in this issue. So.
Oh, I did see that online that they said Bullseye was in it. So the series has been good so far.
Oh yeah, all 3 issues. We haven't been around to talk about it, so this is my first time bringing it up. But yeah, I think you would like it, definitely.
Cool. I mean, if I don't get the issues, I'm definitely gonna pick up the trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
As long as they get around to releasing his Batman and the Outsiders eventually, they push that back.
Well, that's a DC thing. That's not really him.
Yeah, I know.
Like I said, DC is in a really bad mess, and I do have one suggestion for DC that would kind of clear things up. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
Get rid of Dan Dino. He needs to stop forcing his opinions, and like he's just throwing a tantrum. Like, I'm just gonna say it. You can ask me about this particular thing.
Ooh.
He's gotta go. He's gotta go.
Editor-in-chief at the moment. Oh.
He's got his hands in a lot of other pots, and it's just like they didn't even give Greg or anybody else a chance. They're just like, no, we're just gonna go back to Dan. And I'm like, why? None of the fans like him. I mean, he pushes his agenda. He's worse than Mark Guggenheim. I'm just done with it.
I was gonna say there's been grumblings about him for like the last 12, 13 years at least.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna put this out here. I just feel like we're gonna be in the midst of a Les Moonves situation in about a couple of months.
Oh,
so they might want to start looking for someone else. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Do you have inside info?
I don't want to tarnish my brand by working at DC during this era. You can call me for consultation. Just don't put my name on it. Give me the money. Just don't put my name on it.
If there's a Me Too moment coming for Dandado, they need someone, and female would be better.
Yeah, definitely. They have a lot of females in their management that they haven't. Like, it's just the whole thing with the culture of DC's executive board right now that it's just filtering down through the trenches, and I'm just so over it right now.
Lilith, do you have inside info on Dan? Do you?
I've heard grumblings. Yeah.
Give me some headlines, girl. Give me an exclusive. Come on.
It's not an exclusive. I just heard grumblings, and at this point where the culture is, I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year if they had to replace him for things.
Well, not for nothing. That's what brought Bill Cosby down. Is some guy said, "Hey,
Animalverse."
I heard, I heard that we haven't forgotten." And of course, Tracy Jordan said it too on 30 Rock.
So
yeah, I mean, so it's like
all it here first, folks.
Allegedly, by the way, I have to do that as a legal thing. Allegedly, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I hear things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird how really at the end of the day, the comic book industry is still kind of a boys' club, no matter how hard they try to pretend that it's not. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's. I think, and for what it's worth, I think that is one thing that I think the larger corporate purchases have been working to undo, because I think that, and for what it's worth, Warner's is now owned by AT&T.
Yeah,
and I do think that AT&T can push something a little stronger in that way towards that, in the sense that look, we want to sell cell phones and content and stuff like this. We don't need all of your little cub bull, because it is just comic book boys. The guy who he still technically is like something at Marvel. I forget his name. But he was the guy who said, no, women don't like to read comics, and we don't want major female characters and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no.
That's kind of, hindered. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's been hindered because Disney says, actually, no, that makes money. And
princesses! Have you never heard of Disney princesses?
Not for nothing. That is the truth. The truth of it is it's like, Disney says, no, we make lots of money off of women. We're going to put more women superheroes. Because we bought the superheroes because we wanted, but the fact of the matter is, we found out that girls actually like superheroes too. So we're going to put princesses in the superheroes, and we'll put superheroes in the princesses, and it's going to work out. It's going to be synergy, just like Gem and the Holograms. Remember synergy?
Only not as poorly executed. Actually, Mattel really screwed over that whole thing, and that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I'm passionate about Gem and the Holograms and my distaste for Mattel.
I was actually reading the computer synergy.
Oh.
Yeah. It's Showtime synergy.
Yeah.
It's epic earrings. I love that show. I love Gem.
It's a good show. Not a good movie. Don't ever watch the movie, but the comic book, A1.
Man, Lilith Hellfire firing shots all over the place.
No.
It's the new year.
Yeah, I know.
Not a new me.
It is a well accepted fact that the movie was not a good movie.
Like, they pulled it from theaters. It was so bad.
Yeah.
We're never going to recoup our money, so why are we wasting time? No, literally, yeah. And maybe in like 5 more years, we can get another actual authentic reboot, and maybe have the actual creator have some damn input. Call me crazy.
Well, that would be smart. Yeah. Yes, I'm still waiting for the Inhumanoids movie. Inhumanoids.
I don't know, and they might be scared to put anything with the word Inhuman in it.
Just like Arrow can't be called Green Arrow. Yes, we won't be having anything with an Inhuman title on television or movies for quite some time.
I think the Inhumanoids could redeem the word, because they're oids. They're not just Inhumans. And actually, the Inhumans could be great. They just have to say, "Oh yeah, that wasn't in the MCU. That other thing." That's why no one in the MCU showed up. That's an alternate universe. That's like Earth 872, and it was destroyed by Galactus.
There you go.
Make the Inhumans great again.
Fantastic Four.
I seriously, I just cannot wait for them to join the MCU. Them and the X-Men, like, that's gonna be so great in like Phase 9.
I don't know, man. I'm wondering about this. I wonder if there's going to be. I gotta feel there's something, because it was, like I said, they knew it was going through when they were writing it. They knew it was going through when they were shooting it. I think there's going to be references. Because they can legally do references now.
If they tease it in Endgame, in the 3-hour Endgame, it's probably gonna be something really, really small. But I mean, it could happen.
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna say, because they have an in with Nathaniel Richards as Kang, because his name is Nate Richards. And like I said, if Nate Richards shows up pretending to be just a nice guy from the future, trying to solve all these problems,
it's always Nathaniel spreading his seed. I know.
Yeah.
It's
always a Nate.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they actually brought in the actual original Nathaniel Richards as, I was a friend of your father's, Tony. I mean, not your real father's, but you don't know that yet, and that's a Bendis thing.
Bendis.
Actually, I don't know. Was that actually Bendis who decided that Tony Stark was Howard Stark?
It wasn't. It was not Bendis who decided the Starks weren't Tony Stark's biological parents, but he was the one who chose who. Yeah. He chose who the parents were, though.
And nobody. Because that's what he feels about Tony.
Or it could have just been well, I mean, there's two ways you look at it. One way is he maybe wanted to say, you don't need to be a Richards to be a super genius, because maybe that was something he was thinking. I said, but man, doesn't that say that everybody's just some schlub except for, if you're Howard Stark or Reed or Nathaniel Richards or their descendants? And then it's like, well, what if he was just some schlub? And then it becomes this very interesting idea that that the genius of Tony Stark just comes from two regular people, maybe extraordinary people in their own rights, a super spy and a rock star.
I think,
which in any other universe, that's like, oh wow, a rock star and a super spy, that's a pretty cool thing.
Kim Possible, he's Kim Possible.
I think that
exactly.
I kind of get what Bendis was doing. It was kind of like, oh, you didn't get everything from your parents, Tony. You basically built. I mean, you got the money from the Starks, but he's basically your brains and everything else. It's all you.
Well, yeah, and nothing else shows how great your life could be if you happen to be adopted by a billionaire couple.
Nicole, well, not a billionaire, but Nicole Richie could tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, and it does open up a lot in your life. And there was a meme recently about how, I don't know, some royal can speak 2 languages, and they make the point that like
memes, there's secret government programs. What?
Evil government conspiracy.
See, people we should be following Lilith Hellfire on all social media.
You can friend me on Facebook. That's where I go all crazy. If you don't like pictures of smoothies or Bratz dolls, Facebook is not that.
I was gonna say, don't follow Instagram if you don't like pictures of smoothies and dolls.
But Facebook, that's where it goes down. Just
that's where the conspiracy theories are.
I did not know that, because I really don't go on Instagram much. I don't go on any of my social media much at all. But you're a big fan of I see. Bratz always bothered me. First off, because they're just trying to be more Barbie. It's like we're Barbie, but more. Our heads are bigger, our bodies are more disproportionate, and our eyes are creepy.
Well, here's the thing about Bratz that for me, as a Black female, at least they had diversity out the gate. And it's a part of their core thing. And I just don't dig Barbie. Like, I never have. Even I grew up with all the Black Barbies and all that stuff, but it's literally just white Barbie with dark skin. It's the whole thing about Barbie. I just don't care.
Fair enough. And that is what people have always said about the Bratz. I just think that that their eyes are creepy. But I don't like dolls in general, because I find doll eyes creepy.
Yeah, my boyfriend does not like my office space where we watch my other TV, because I don't like to sit in the living room, because I'm one of those people, it's the sitting room. So it has a lot of my Bratz dolls.
Is that you?
Yeah, basically, except for no plastic on the furniture. Not yet anyway. But yeah, so they're always looking at him, and I'm like, well, just don't look at him. It's fine.
Look, and they will steal your soul. Have you not seen it was the very first night gallery? The little Juju doll will steal your soul.
Well, I don't have one to steal, so joke's on them.
Yeah. You're like Love Shot. Your soul isn't even in this universe.
Exactly. Or that Paul Giamatti movie. It's like a tiny pebble, and I keep it locked up in storage.
As well you should.
And on that note, Philip, wrap it up. So we can listen to Super Connectivity.
Yeah. Into valuable super connection time.
All day. There'd be podcasting all day.
On that note.
Anyway, send us your thoughts on various things. The Orville, comics, Gotham, the Brats, Capes and Lunatics at gmail.com, facebook.com/Capes and Lunatics, at Capes Lunatics on Twitter, Capes and Lunatics on the Instagram. We don't put up smoothie pictures. And the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-Capes. And Bratz aficionado Lilith Hellfire.
If you guys want to live tweet with me, Gotham and the rest of like the DC TV universe at Lilith Hellfire. If you want to learn about healthy living 6 days a week, because I do have a cheat day where I drink and post grotesque fast food pictures every now and then. At Lilith Hellfire 86. If you want to talk my favorite hero that wears red and blue that's not Spider-Man, Superman, at Save Me Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and/or Instagram.
And the man, the legend, Charlie Esser.
Well, you can always direct me in an old-fashioned email way, the way our moms and pops once did, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on Twitter when I stay awake and not doing a podcast and can actually live tweet shows like the Orville, like Gotham. And follow me, too. And you might actually say, oh, my goodness, there's a tweet from Charlie Esser. That's at CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing.
Oh.
What?
I gotta switch that around to the Bing.
The thing is, I actually always told when we actually first did that, I told Maz, no, the Bing should go at the end of look for the 2 E's in the middle.
Next time you record, tell Maz to do it. Lilith will pull it.
Well, I actually, because you were saying we did it that way this time when he does it. There's the ping, and then I do this for quality. He does for quality ping. So trust me, we've had these conversations, Phil.
I know. I edit them.
Anyway, for another week, starting out 2019 strong, we have been the Capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics.
Nice. She must have had her smoothie this morning.
Yay, smoothies.
Yeah, you gotta prep the good for the bad for tonight.
Yeah.
Chicken wings and whatever alcohol I can get.
Oh no, look out, Buffalo Wild Wings. Here she comes.
Well, it's good you had the smoothie, because it'll help you poop.
If that's not a drop, I'm gonna be very upset, Philip.
I would have got to be the last line. Oh my lord. Wishing you all healthy poops.